the mother of monsters. In the heart of an ancient, untouched forest, where the canopy formed a natural cathedral and the ground was soft with centuries of fallen leaves, a legend was born. This was no ordinary forest, it was a place where the mundane world and the supernatural intertwined. It was here, in a secluded glade bathed in perpetual twilight, that the mother of monsters made her home. Her name was Illyria, a being of ancient magic and profound mystery. Her origins were lost to time, whispered only in the oldest of myths. Some said she was a goddess fallen from grace, others claimed she was the first creature to ever draw breath, and a few believed she was the living embodiment of the earth's most primal fears. Illyria herself neither confirmed nor denied these stories, for she was a creature of few words and infinite secrets. Illyria's domain was filled with the creatures she had brought into existence. Each was unique, born from her imagination and infused with her potent magic. There were serpents with wings that shimmered like moonlight, wolves with eyes that burned like embers, and creatures that defied description, their forms shifting and changing like shadows in a firelight. These were her children, the monsters of legend, and they revered her with a loyalty that was absolute. The forest was a place of harmony, albeit a fragile and often dangerous one. Illyria ruled with a gentle hand, her presence calming the beasts and maintaining a delicate balance. The creatures were not evil, but they were formidable, and their mother's will was the only thing keeping their predatory instincts in check. One day, a disturbance rippled through the forest, a presence that was foreign and unsettling. Illyria felt it like a shiver down her spine. She moved silently through her domain, her feet barely touching the ground, until she reached the source of the disturbance, a human child, lost and alone. The child was a boy, no older than 7 or 8, with a mop of unruly hair and wide, frightened eyes. He had stumbled into Illyria's world by accident, a twist of fate that had taken him far from the safety of his village. He was surrounded by creatures that watched him with a mixture of curiosity and hunger. Illyria stepped forward, her presence commanding and serene. The creatures immediately backed away, their eyes still fixed on the boy but their instincts subdued by their mother's authority. She knelt before the child, her eyes meeting his with a gaze that was both ancient and kind. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice a melodious whisper. The boy swallowed hard, his fear palpable. "My name is Liam," he managed to say. "I got lost." Illyria nodded, understanding more than just the words he spoke. She could sense the desperation and fear that clung to him like a second skin. "Do not be afraid, Liam. You are safe here." With a gentle hand, she touched his forehead, and a warm, calming sensation washed over him. The fear in his eyes ebbed away, replaced by a tentative trust. Illyria rose and extended her hand to him. "Come with me. I will help you find your way home." As they walked through the forest, Illyria spoke to him of her world, of the creatures that lived under her protection. She explained that the monsters were not to be feared, but respected. They were her children, born of magic and imagination, each with a role to play in the delicate balance of their world. Liam listened with wide eyes, his fear replaced by wonder. He saw the creatures not as threats, but as beings with their own lives and stories. He even began to smile, his curiosity overcoming his initial terror. Days turned into weeks as Illyria and Liam journeyed together. She taught him about the forest, about the magic that flowed through it like a living river. She showed him how to communicate with the creatures, how to understand their needs and desires. In return, Liam shared stories of the human world, of places and people that Illyria had never known. A bond grew between them, one that transcended their differences. Illyria came to see Liam as a son, while Liam saw her as a guardian, a protector in a world that was both wondrous and terrifying. However, their peaceful existence was not to last. Word of the forest and its wonders had spread to the human world, carried by traders and travelers. Tales of the mother of monsters reached the ears of those who sought power and control, and soon, a group of mercenaries entered the forest with intentions far darker than curiosity. They came with weapons and traps, determined to capture or kill the creatures they saw as threats. Their leader, a man named Varek, was driven by greed and ambition. He believed that whoever controlled the monsters would wield unimaginable power. The invasion shattered the peace of the forest. Creatures fled or fought back, but the mercenaries were relentless. Illyria confronted them, her magic a force of nature, but even she could not be everywhere at once. In the chaos, Liam was captured. Varek saw in the boy a way to control Illyria, a leverage that he could use to bend her to his will. He threatened Liam's life, demanding that Illyria surrender and give him dominion over the forest and its inhabitants. Illyria faced an impossible choice. She could not allow Varek to harm Liam, but neither could she hand over her children to a man who would surely exploit and destroy them. Desperation and rage boiled within her, a storm of emotions that threatened to consume her. In that moment, a realization struck her. The power of the forest was not hers alone, it was shared by all its inhabitants, a collective strength born of their unity and their bond. She called out to her children, her voice a clarion call that echoed through the trees. The creatures responded, their loyalty to their mother stronger than their fear of the invaders. They surged forward, a tide of magic and fury, overwhelming the mercenaries with sheer force of numbers. Even Varek, with all his cunning and cruelty, could not stand against them. In the end, the mercenaries were driven from the forest, their plans in ruins. Varek himself was captured, his fate left in the hands of the creatures he had sought to enslave. Illyria reclaimed Liam, holding him close as if to reassure herself that he was safe. With the immediate danger past, Illyria gathered her children around her. She spoke to them of the importance of unity, of the strength they found in each other. She reminded them that their world was fragile, a delicate balance that must be preserved at all costs. As for Liam, he had found a new home among the creatures of the forest. He stayed with Illyria, learning more about the magic that infused their world, becoming a bridge between the human and supernatural realms. In time, he would grow into a protector of the forest, a guardian in his own right. Illyria watched him with pride, her heart swelling with a mother's love. She knew that the future would bring new challenges, new threats to their peace, but she also knew that they would face them together. For in the heart of the ancient forest, under the eternal twilight, the bond between the mother of monsters and her children, both magical and human, was unbreakable. And as long as that bond remained, there would always be hope for their world.